Tell me why. Ain't nothing but a heartbreak.
Tell me why. Tell me why. Book of Boba Fett spoilers ahead. 'Cause we saw Cad Bane. Dude. Right off the bat.
Hype.
Right off the
Just
bat.
start with
Start screaming to the microphone.
Just start screaming spoilers into the mic. Just
Literally. So if you're already watching this, probably go back 10 seconds.
If I had my card, my debit card,
Just slamming on the floor.
yeah.
Abusing it.
I don't know. Sometimes like TikTok memes like stick with me outside of TikTok. I'm
No.
just like that's a typical TikTok meme. Like how do you call it? Or it started off from what I remember when I first saw it. It started off as like people who weren't like conventionally attractive, and then like girls would be like with like their credit card like saying no, yeah, they're still pretty hot.
Why with the credit card though?
I don't know. That's just how the meme developed. It's just
No,
like
I don't
I guess because like oh no, I'll pay for you. I'll pay for dinner.
Oh,
Something like that.
I get it. Okay,
I'll take
okay.
you out.
Yeah. I'll take you out. So they slam the credit card down because they're like
But they don't do it once. It's like
multiple times slamming
like
on
that.
the floor.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Anyways, Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, the book
I
of
gotta
Boba.
explain memes for them to be funny.
Exactly. So, yeah, it was pretty fucking hype. Spoilers, of course. So, just the entire thing was like just a bunch of cameos and stuff, and I saw Boba Fett maybe like for 10 seconds.
Honestly,
They call us the Book of Boba Fett. Mandalorian comes in, puts his golden schlong, and everyone's like, "Yes, that's what we need." Honestly,
everyone starts licking.
yeah. Okay, so from the
It's
beginning. He sees C-3PO, and he's like, C-3PO, he sees R2-D2,
Archie.
and he's like, sup, R2, and then the midget inside is like, all right, let's go. And he brings him over to Luke. And then the deep fake on Luke has gotten pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it was really good at the end of Mandalorian, but
Someone actually made it better on Reddit. They were like, this is how you could have done it, and you could have made it better, because like the lips weren't tracking, or something was off with the face, right?
yeah.
But that's why in this one, they were kind of not showing him talking as much, you know?
Yeah.
Because occasionally he'd be like, come on, Grogu. And then it would cut away and he'd be like, you have to be sensitive in the ways of the Force. Like saying a lot more things, but just not on camera. So you couldn't like notice it. Which, I mean, some people are like, oh, that's like a cheap trick. And it's like, well, that's what they're doing. Like, what do you want? You know, like it's just they want...
You want Luke Skywalker or not?
Exactly. Exactly. You want Luke Skywalker or not? Because we're going to put him in here. We can't de-age the actual guy. He doesn't sound anything like he used
Disney
to.
doesn't have a monopoly on de-aging technology just yet.
Exactly.
They don't have immortality technology.
One day they will, and Walt Disney will rise from the dead and lead the Fourth Reich. This is true, everybody. Remember that.
You know, that's one thing that I like, because like apparently like I like that everyone just remembers him as a Nazi.
Yeah,
Like,
everyone remembers him for hating Jews. It's like Walt Disney, the head of the beloved Disney Corporation, which has brought about so many stories, because it's not like he wrote the stories either, right? It's like fucking...
He's adapted earlier works.
Yeah, he's just grabbing fucking classic Hans Christian Andersen stories and putting like, it's a little cartoon Bambi or whatever, you know? And they're like, the beloved stories told by Disney. Not Walt Disney himself. He was a Nazi.
No,
he hated the Jews.
Yeah.
He wrote a letter to
unironically,
he wrote a letter to the president saying how we should not care and not enter into World War II. But hey, I have all of his Funko Pops now. They just appear behind.
I've made his company millions.
And I've got to buy all the Funko Pops. I got to harass retail employees in the morning every time they come out. If they don't have it, I'm like, freak.
Kingdom Hearts. I need another.
Exactly. So, yeah. I mean, you know, he's dead. They have his head frozen. Supposedly,
Good,
allegedly, his head is frozen somewhere, which they'll then reattach so he can become the
SCP something whatever.
the 68th president of the United States.
Yeah. The 68th Führer of the United States.
Exactly. No, the first Führer of the United States when he leads the Fourth Reich.
Now, then Trump will be retroactively inaugurated as the first Führer.
Oh,
His presidency will be the first one. And this will be known as the insurrection, the Biden years.
Exactly. Technically, Trump was the first one, so now he's the second one. So, yeah. Walt Disney's unfrozen head on top of a robot body will be
like
the
Nixon
second
in
exactly. Futurama. Exactly. I'm back, baby. And it's like the same person can't be... nobody can be voted twice, more than twice as president. He's like, yeah, exactly. Nobody. I have a different body. And it's like, that's not how that works. But okay. It's fun to think about. Because, think of it. If you put his... No, it doesn't really... Okay, if you get someone else's brain and put it in Nixon, that's not Nixon, right?
Yeah.
Because their brain is someone else. So
unless you think your body has an influence on who you are.
No. We're brain pilots in a bone mech with flesh armor. So I'm not... This is not me.
So then if in that case, if you get amnesia, are you still the same person?
Yes, because your core memories are still there, and amnesia is
no. You have complete and total amnesia. You don't remember anything.
It's curable. That's what I was going to lead into my point.
Sometimes
it's like a disease, and then they have to do therapy and things like that in order to bring back the memories, because memories are still there. They're not like erased. It's not like
no. But if the connections don't exist anymore, yeah, it's completely possible. There's cases of that, like where
so like
physical damage to the brain.
Someone with Alzheimer's is no longer the same person. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm asking, because you're saying that the body has no effect on the person.
It's the brain. Exactly. It's just the brain.
No, but
if you lose an arm, you're not any less of a person.
True.
I mean, percentage-wise, yes.
Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying like you're the same individual, because obviously, like even if you fucking lose your mind, you're still a person.
Exactly. You're still the same person you were. People change. People always change.
Yeah, but so that means that your body does have an effect on who you are.
No. Your experiences have an effect on who you are.
And how do you experience them? You experience them through the method of your body.
But if you're in a wheelchair, you can have different experiences than if you had like working legs and things like that. But it wouldn't make you a different
But it still shapes who you are. Are you saying that being in a wheelchair doesn't shape who you are?
No, yeah. That's fine. It does shape who they are. Yeah. But it doesn't make them... It's not like, okay, Edward with legs, Edward with no legs. It's like two different people. It's like you would still be the same person.
One could argue, yeah, because you're experiencing the world in a different way.
No, yeah, you are experiencing the world in a different way, but I'm saying...
And those experiences shape who you are. So, like, wheelchair Edward, who's been in a wheelchair for 4 years, is a different person than Edward, who always had legs their entire life.
But they're both still Edward at their core.
I guess.
That's what I'm saying. If you put someone else's brain into Nixon's body... He's still like the person he was, like let's say Black Mirror this shit, right? Where they're like, you can switch brains with someone, right? And then it's like, okay, now I'm in Edward's body, but I still have all my experiences and stuff. Just I'm piloting a different mech now. Your bones are always wet. Remember that.
That's true.
Your bones are always wet.
Internally too. They're always wet on the inside.
I told one of my coworkers that, and he just started going, "Oh, dude, why'd you have to say that?" He's like imagining every single bone just sopping wet.
I'm just imagining it like with dog slobber.
Like, not blood, just like your bones are like being licked by Scooby-Doo every day in the morning when you wake up.
That's how you rehydrate them.
Exactly. You rehydrate them with dog slobber. You don't even have to put peanut butter on those, tell you that much.
Wait, what?
So, Mandalorian. I mean, the Book of Boba Fett, because apparently this is a Mandalorian show now.
It's I loved Boba Fett's 2 lines and a cameo in Mandalorian season 3.
Exactly. Oh, it was great. It was great.
Okay, to be fair though, like here's the thing, like Boba Fett, like okay, like I love Boba Fett as a character, right? Mm-hmm. But the reason why we love him is because he only had 3.5 lines in the original trilogy.
Because he was mysterious.
Yeah, and like. I loved the first 3 episodes of Boba Fett, right? Of Book of Boba Fett. I love that whole thing. But you have to admit, especially in the earlier parts, they were kind of boring.
Well, it's a lot of exposition. So because that's the thing. I'm watching it as the Book of Boba Fett. I'm not watching it as Mandalorian. Because I know a lot of people were watching expecting like it's the next Mandalorian. We're going to see like high octane action, things like that. But it's a different story. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And also, if they made it just like The Mandalorian, then you'd have people going, it's too much like The Mandalorian. Why am I just watching the same thing over again?
Oh, right? No. Yeah, but that's not what I'm really talking about, because like I'm going into the same framework. I'm not really... I honestly didn't really want Book of Boba Fett to be Mandalorian Season 3. Like, legitimately. Like, I really did like them that they did something different. But I think it says something about the character of Boba Fett that, like, at least right now where they're trying to... explore the character like in like a popular medium like TV show. It's not, or so far the stuff that heavily features him is kind of floundering a little bit. Like it's not bad. It's good. I love it. I enjoy it. But it
like
is
the present
like a
parts
slow
of
start.
it, or what?
Like, yeah, like the first few episodes, the really heavily focused on him. They didn't really get good until like the Tuskens showed up, and they showed a lot more interplay between him and them.
Well, the Tuskens showed up in like the first episode. What do you mean?
No, but like the later ones when he actually joins them and when they all die and stuff.
I mean, yeah, but like
because like
I don't know,
it's the same
he
thing
goes
with, like,
through the stages of like, okay, distrust, earning their trust, proving he's also a warrior, and then like being one of them, basically.
No, yeah, but like I feel like I don't even know how to properly express this, to be honest, because like it's not bad. That's the one thing. It's like
it's slower, but it's not a bad slow.
Yes, kind of yes, but it's also like it's like a. And this is probably what they're going for, like in hindsight, but it does feel like a different character to the Boba Fett that we know.
I mean, to be fair, the Boba Fett we know, like you said, he says 3 lines, and it's like, that's it. You know,
that's it.
He's mysterious. That was his whole thing. But now we're getting into the mystery of who he is, his
but I guess
and stuff, how he survived.
The issue that I'm kind of having, like in my own head, is like. It feels like a really huge jump, and I guess it's probably gonna make a lot more sense once Book of Boba Fett finishes. Mm-hmm. But like the shift in character does feel a little bit
jarring.
Yeah, it feels like it was a little bit too sudden.
Yeah,
which makes sense in this last episode, like going more into spoilers, where he's like, "Don't work for people that will just throw you under the bus."
Yeah. But I guess it does make sense because, like, when you think about it, he was like, quote unquote young or whatever, right? When he gets thrown to the Sarlacc pit, and then he comes out and he's all like fat, and he's like, oh man, like, oh that was not good.
Yeah.
You know? So I get what you mean with that, but like, we don't know how long he was with the Sand People and stuff.
Yeah.
We don't really know. It was like indeterminate amount of time he was with the Tuskens.
Wait, didn't he mention that he was there for like a little bit? He wasn't there for that long.
It was like a few years and stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's a few years in between the Sarlacc pit and then Luke saving the galaxy.
Yeah. But no, what I mean is like they mentioned about roughly how long he made it. He was like you said, they said something like it was a couple of years or something like that.
Yeah.
So we kind of have like a rough idea of how long it was.
At least a few years and stuff. Because they even say, your time with the Tuskens has made you soft. And it's like his time with, it wasn't just like, I was there for 2 months, a spring break or whatever.
Yeah, just partying.
A vacation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A vacation to the sand sea dunes.
That's the second Dune. The Dune Sea.
The Dune Sea.
That's what they call it in Dune also. So did you watch Dune?
I don't know. I was thinking about no, I didn't. But when Dune Sea, how do you call it? I was thinking about Night Vale. I was like,
no, I don't know. It was Night Vale.
Night Vale is like a type of like kind of like eldritch horror podcast.
Oh, okay.
Like like the people that work on it, or the voice of one of the main person working on it, or the main voice actor of it would hate this comparison, but it's like kind of like H.P. Lovecraft style.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean he's the original eldritch horror. Like that's, you can't really hate the comparison. It's a fair comparison.
You can, because he was a racist. Like
no,
his eldritch.
We're separating his dog versus his.
Well, you honestly can't really, because like if you read Lovecraft, like you have like there's no real way around the fact that he's writing it from the perspective of a racist, but not like American racist. He's writing it from like old English racist, where it's like, instead of it being like black people or like Hispanics, it's like, anyone below this level of wealth.
Yeah, it's like the dirty Irish.
Yeah, the dirty Irish. That's that sort of stuff. He's not really like directed at something. It's literally like more like a class system. I mean, it's still racism no matter which way you slice it. Not much of a difference there, but it's very apparent in his books, because it's like all the poor people need like a white rich person to come save them. That's like
the white savior.
The white savior. Yeah. That's basically what all his stories are. And he was also very unintelligent. Like there's one story where like he's basically writing about a fear of air conditioners. Mm-hmm. Like where like he's like writes it from the point of view of like this person who's like, it's like all this like, ooh, spooky, you don't know how the air conditioner works, and it turns out that the person's keeping himself alive using an air conditioner. Mm-hmm. Like he died and he's cooling his body in order to maintain his life. And so and so when his AC stops working, the dude is like, oh my god, he's going against God with like all this, and I don't know, it's very apparent when you read his works that it's very racist. Like
Racist air conditioner?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like I can't explain it properly because I'm not smart, but like when you read his like works, because it's one of the first things before I knew about all the racism, I bought his books, audiobook, listened to it. Once you notice it, you can't unsee it in his work. Like if you don't know about it, and especially if you're young, you could go your whole life without like really keying in on that. But then all you need is someone to tell you and like what to look for, and you can't unsee it anytime you open up one of his books now. You just it's just not
the switch has been flipped.
Yeah. It's like you see those pictures sometimes. It's like, does this look like a duck to you? And before it looked like something completely different, and now you like that, and you're like,
it does look like a duck.
It does look like a duck now. It's like,
huh? Oh well.
Yeah.
You know what they say.
But yeah, that's what I was thinking about when I think Dune Sea, because in Night Vale, basically it's like this town, and everything for miles around is nothing but desert, like legitimately desert. And
so
like,
Tatooine,
basically. Yes, literally Tatooine, basically. Literally Tatooine, basically. And then like weird shit always happens. Like librarians like basically eat you in there, and that's seen as normal.
Well, it's an allegory of a sundown town where if you go out after sundown as a person of color, you'll get lynched.
Ugh.
So you can't do anything out at night.
Honestly, apparently sundown towns still exist.
There are 2 sundown towns in Alabama.
I legitimately thought that they were a relic of the past. Like
Alabama's a relic
like
of the past.
4 years. Yeah, to be honest.
50th in education, out of 50 states. You did it, Alabama. 50 out of 50.
Your only perfect score.
Exactly. Oh shit, you're right. 50 out of 50, Alabama. Your only perfect score. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Cad Bane.
Dude,
that was insane. He was like walking. I was like, what character has a cape? And I was like, who is this guy? And then I saw the brim of the hat, and my hands just started sweating. I was like, oh shit, it's him. And I was like,
jizz all over the computer screen.
Legit.
No, but literally, why do you think Cad Bane is starting to show up everywhere now?
Because
he showed up in the Bad
well-written
Batch
character. Then you can use him as a Jedi killer.
Yeah. Jedi killer.
The best bounty hunter in the galaxy after Jango Fett, by the way. And presumably Jango Fett probably killed some Jedi too in his time.
Oh, yeah. Dude, that's why they used them for the clones, because the plan was kind of because the Mandalorians are known as Jedi killers. And that's because, well, you can bounce back my laser bolts, have a fucking,
the Beskar armor, imagine.
Not
the
even
first
Beskar
guy getting
armor.
hit by Beskar, by a lightsaber, he's like, wait a minute. I'm fine.
No, but not even with Beskar. The shotguns, they just fucking load up shotgun shells with like, or
metal slugs.
That's why they have those whistling birds too.
Which ones?
In the Mandalorian, when he gets the upgrade, the whistling birds, the out of there. That's why they have them, because the Jedi can't block all of them at once.
That's hilarious.
So, and then how do you call it? And you see other things like a lot of this probably isn't directly mentioned in any of the mediums, but I mean,
we can infer.
Yeah. How do you counteract someone that can only block from one direction at a time? Well, they can't really block all of the flames.
Yeah, parry this, you fucking casual.
Fucking flamethrower out of the fucking... Why do they have a fucking rocket strapped to their back?
Yeah.
Parry the fucking rocket, you piece of shit. Like,
yeah, that makes sense.
Come on.
Yeah.
Like...
So many unconventional weapons, especially when you're thinking of warfare. It's like, it's all lasers and stuff, and Mandalorians are like, I will chuck a fucking rocket, and like, you don't understand. We have slingshots, okay?
It's the same reason why, like, the Ewoks can realistically take out stormtroopers.
Why do we even wear this armor? It's useless.
It's because it's so primitive that's not the combat they engage in anymore.
Yeah, like
it's like if someone took a halberd to like a normal soldier, like with a gun.
Exactly.
If they're already next to you,
like chain link armor is really effective against swords and stuff.
Yeah,
but it's not effective against like small daggers or like guns or whatever.
Someone with a halberd like just sneaks up on you, it's gonna stab you straight through. Like
exactly, like armor was so cumbersome at that time, but because that's what they need to protect themselves against
Yeah.
swords. You had like a small locations where you might get hit and stuff, but then a fucking cannonball, there's just he's got a basketball sized hole in your chest. Recover from that, basically.
And that's why we switched to no armor and all that stuff.
Yeah, so you
also because bullets can pierce armor.
You got to be more agile and stuff like that, and reloading the guns. And then nowadays, like, you still have people with like armor and stuff, but like snipers just they'll still blow people's fucking faces off. It's crazy.
It doesn't matter to like steel isn't gonna stop a bullet.
Exactly.
Yeah. But like as a result, like
yeah.
When you have impenetrable armor that bullets and things can't do, like you're able to use, like at that point a sword actually is a better kind of thing. Yeah. Because the armor that they are wearing isn't built around your weapon. Yeah. Yeah.
That was like one thing in Dune also, because in the movie they're all fighting with like swords and stuff like that, because like they all have little energy fields around them. It's like their energy armor, right? So if they shoot lasers at them, it just bounces right off. So they have to go back to swords and stuff, because with the sword you can slowly pierce through it, because apparently that makes fucking sense. Yeah. I don't know why they don't wear like conventional armor plus the
I was gonna say one. Like, see that's a bit more dumb, because like if you have an outside energy shield that weighs absolutely nothing,
why wouldn't you put on something else?
Yeah. So dumb. It's like dumb. In the Star Wars, at least, like, well, yeah, it's either one or the other.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you have to make a choice, and protecting yourself against the most conventional forms of weaponry is gonna give you more protection than like, oh no, what if I get, a small poison dagger from the side?
Yeah, but these guys were straight up like naked besides that, straight up. And they were always like,
that's kind of dumb.
And they're like, a slow cut or whatever. It's like, come on, man. And that's why also their bombs, like when they drop the bombs, they don't explode on impact. They fall and then they go through the energy shield and then it explodes once it's inside. So like, they have to find warfare advances, of course. Necessity
at that point though, wouldn't it be better to just do like there's this like type of weaponry that's just steel rods,
railguns. Didn't Mandalorians have railguns? Yeah, railguns shoot steel rods at like supersonic speeds or whatever.
No, I was thinking it's more you shoot it, but like you drop it from like outer space, like instead of bombs, and they do like 3 times the damage of conventional explosives.
How you gonna pinpoint though from outer space? So many factors. It's a very long distance.
Yeah, but you just drop it, and it's so much cheaper.
But you can't. What if you can't just drop it? What if it's like, okay, burning up in the atmosphere, or there might be things around it, or like wind resistance and whatnot?
Yeah, it'll just pierce through it. We're talking about like tungsten level durability that can re-enter the atmosphere. Like normal buildings aren't going to stop it. You need even like underground bunkers. Or Star Wars? No, in the Dune.
Because in Dune it would just and then fall off. Because the only reason the bombs stayed, they were met with resistance from the energy shields, but the bombs have their own thing where they like vibrate really fast to get through the energy shield. Oh, because
I was thinking like if swords can get through the energy shields, like a normal steel rod should be able to get through as well.
But it's like, think of it this way: when they swing a sword, it goes ding. So you have to like push it. It has to have like rockets on it or something to keep pushing it through, which is why the bombs they keep going through until it pierces. Because if you just drop it, it'll go and then just fall off.
Just fall off.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
that makes more sense.
Yeah, the slow blade pierces the armor, is what they would say in the movie.
Okay.
And we saw that with Mandalorian too. To be fair, remember with the Darksaber, it was like starting to melt the armor when they were like fighting and stuff.
It heated up, but it didn't get close to melting it.
I mean, it probably would take a while, but like you saw what it was doing, right? It was starting to.
Yeah, but that's the point of Beskar, that the lightsaber can't like
pierce it immediately.
Hold it. No. Even if you hold it to it, it can't pierce it. That's why they're able to fight with it.
Well, I mean,
like it heats up and you can see the heating, but it never gets to its melting point.
Yeah,
so it never really cuts through it.
Point.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, and I think they don't. I mean, a Jedi's not gonna stand there and hold for a while.
They can't either.
They're not gonna have that chance,
But basically, like Beskar, the whole point is that like when a lightsaber touches it, even if you keep holding it there, it's not likely to. It's. I'm not sure if it's impossible, and this is a little bit me shaky on the lore, but it's at the very least super extremely unlikely that even if you hold the lightsaber to the Beskar, it's going to reach its melting point.
No,
it's like holding a match
for a while.
It's like holding a match to a steel brick. You're never, even if you hold it there forever, you're not really going to reach the melting point of steel.
Yeah,
with just a match.
And even then, let's say they're distracting. They're like they're trying to cut through it. Mandalorian's got 1,000 different little things.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the point.
Yeah, just whatever.
you know,
hit him to the fucking head or something. But
dude, it's still fucking insane how like the way they depicted the death of all the Mandalorians. Because
everyone just got fucking carpet bombed.
Yeah, they got fucking nuked. Shit. They got nuked to fucking hell.
I did not expect to see that. And that was the last episode. And then this episode we saw the Order 66 again.
Order 66.
The first time we've seen anything about Order 66 since 2005 in live action.
Yeah.
It was crazy, dude. His fucking trauma was done by so it was someone commented saying the trauma that Grogu is feeling is from Anakin, and Luke, his son, is gonna undo that trauma.
Yeah. It's like mind blown. Because Anakin was the one killing the younglings, so it would have been Anakin who was like tasked with killing Grogu.
No. You remember the stormtroopers were shooting?
No, yeah, but
that
it would
was
have been
his fault.
Yeah, I know, but it would have been and because it was Anakin who was responsible for killing all the younglings.
But he was far away though. He wasn't.
I know,
the same
but
place.
like what I mean is like it was like Palpatine gave that job to Anakin. We know that Anakin was the one carrying out the orders to murder the younglings, and he used the clones and stuff, and then Grogu was a byproduct of that.
Well,
so it was Anakin's direct fault that Grogu was life was in danger.
No, yeah. It is his direct fault. But I don't think he ever saw him.
No. I'm not saying he saw him. Yeah.
It's 100% Anakin's fault.
Yeah, but it was 100% like Anakin was the one going around murdering younglings. He was the one using clones to attack the younglings. Like it was like Palpatine was taking care of like the grown-up Jedi, and then Anakin was taking care of all like the babies. The baby Jedi.
Well, what grown-up Jedi were even left? We saw they were all getting shot by the stormtroopers.
That's why. It was but that was like Anakin wasn't responsible per se for like the grown Jedi getting killed. Like his department was the baby Jedi.
What a bitch! He could like kill kids.
Exactly. That's why.
Anakin's the Sandy Hook massacre guy. Jesus. Okay, Anakin, we get it. You can beat up kids. Ooh, it's not very hard.
Lone wolf looking at.
Exactly. Yeah, but that was crazy. Like, seeing
that's why they got a white person to play Anakin.
Honestly. And he got away with it too.
Yeah,
he got away with it.
Got away with it.
At the end of it, he got reconstructed, which is him getting paid time off. He got back and he had his kids, and he got paid leave. That's all he got. Slap on the wrist, paid leave.
Oh my god.
So, yeah. That's what
Anakin's
gets.
a school shooter,
basically. Jesus, dude.
Oh my god. George Lucas was trying to warn us. He saw the Sandy Hook thing and he was like, "There are going to be more. I already know it."
He saw it in the future. That's why. Because Sandy Hook didn't happen in 2014. He's like 9 years in the future. He's like, "I must warn everyone with my art." And we're like, "Oh, George, you silly goose! Stop that. We're not watching."
Wait, what was the school shooting that happened in the 90s? Columbine. He saw Columbine and he predicted Sandy Hook.
Yeah, with little kids and stuff.
Oh my god, this is so horrible. This is so fucking horrible. Oh my god.
Broke to Friday podcast does not condone school shootings.
Yes, no.
Unless
I
they're
love
funny.
dark humor, but
unless they're funny,
unless they're funny.
If you guys can make it really
into a prank,
funny, exactly.
Like you just have like a camera crew come out, like it's just a prank.
And then there's like 3 kids with like their guts falling out, but it's not their real guts. Turns out it's like their fucking salami or whatever. They're like, "Ah, mom, I got you."
And it turns out their intestines are actually salami.
Exactly.
So it's their actual intestines.
Oops. We fucked up, people. We fucked up. We were putting salami into his stomach, and we accidentally pulled out some of his real salami.
Yeah. Salami Bami.
So who is Cad Bane?
Cad Bane.
Tell me
Cad
all
Bane
about
is a
him.
Bounty hunter.
And then?
That's all there is to know. And
he's a bounty hunter. Dude,
no, he's the person that trained Boba Fett.
Is he?
Yeah.
In
Clone Wars. Clone Wars, we see so at the request of Jango Fett, because he was killed in the Clone Wars movie, right?
Yeah,
in
the movie.
Episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
And by Samuel L. Jackson. You know, it was apparently supposed to be Tupac who played Mace Windu.
Why?
He was supposed to be the original casting, but then he died. He got murdered.
Oh, well,
and so he didn't become. And Samuel L. Jackson was always meant to be in Star Wars, but he wasn't supposed to be Mace Windu.
Didn't he get murdered before that? Like way before that, though.
He also they wanted him for that role. I know that much. I'm not too specific because a friend of a friend, which I guess they're kind of friend too. But even though I've only met him once, but how do you call it? They were telling me they're like a bigger Star Wars nerd than me, and they were just like they're super obsessed with Star Wars. And it's like, it's so like interesting hearing all these like tiny details where it's like, yeah, it was originally supposed to be Tupac, who was played Mace Windu.
Why,
and then
though?
Samuel L.
That's
Jackson
funny.
was supposed to be a different character. But then when Tupac died, they upgraded, because Samuel L. Jackson was going to be like a secondary character, like pilot type of thing or something. And then they upgraded him to Mace Windu because Tupac died. And so they couldn't cast Tupac in the role anymore.
He's the only one with the purple lightsaber because that's the only one that stands out. That's so cool, though. Honestly, imagine being like... And it said, allegedly, it said motherfucker on the inscription on the lightsaber. Dude. I don't believe that, though. No one just writes cuss words on a kid's movie. But, hey, who knows? Who knows?
I mean, I guess. Yeah, you know what I have noticed? Like, it's hard to think of Star Wars, like, at least Episode 3 as a kid's movie. Mostly because of the kid genocide, but also mostly, but also because like the original infanticide, but also because like the
original Star Wars.
The original Star Wars also has 2 genocides.
I mean, yeah,
when the rebels blow up the whole Death
Star and the Death Star. Well, to be fair, that one's like a genocide of Nazis, so they're bad guys, so they deserved it.
That's fine.
That's different. Exactly. They were all complicit.
They're all complicit.
Over 6 million people lived on that planet.
Honestly, though, like I don't really care. Like I like seeing the Star Wars like nowadays. Like I recently rewatched the original trilogy, right? And I couldn't like. When I was young, I was like, "Oh man, they really just killed all those people." Like when I say young, I mean like middle school, because that's when I first saw the original trilogy. Well, the complete original trilogy, because when I was like younger than that, I grew up basically on like episode 3 of the Star Wars, and then episode 6. No, wait, episode 4. So A New Hope, when Luke first gets introduced, and when Anakin falls. So literally, I don't know. I had a weird way of watching the Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
But how do you call it? I was like, man, did they really have to kill every single one of those like employees at the Death Star? Like when I was younger.
Empire. Oh, okay.
Like,
when you're younger, you're like,
making the comparison.
People working in the desks.
I was like, there's like a receptionist there that didn't support the Empire. Probably like there's probably like a janitor that was just there trying to clock in his 9 to 5 or something. And then
now you're like,
and now
I've learned about Nazis and I know they're all complicit.
Yeah, I'm like,
silence is complicit.
I kind of don't feel bad for anyone on the Death Star anymore. They
were complicit with the Empire.
It's not just because they were complicit, because they're actively working for them.
By virtue of working for them.
Like,
you can't say, oh, the Nazis are bad, but hey, they paid $30 an hour, so I'm gonna go work for them just for the money, just for my family.
Yeah,
you're helping them.
Yeah, they're actively helping, like, and especially because like on the Death Star, they were all actively complicit in the genocide, a genocide of the Alderaanian people.
Some cunt fucking stamped the paperwork, going, okay, guys, we fired that shot, and that's how much it's gonna cost.
That receptionist who has to go back to like their family or whatever is actively stamping to wipe out billions of families. It's like,
what are you, paid by the laser? You don't do the budget, Terry. I do.
Exactly. And so now I'm just like, man, I really couldn't give less of a shit. They're all dead now. I really could not care less.
Yeah.
Like, I feel sympathy for the conditions that
drove them to
be that. Yeah. But I don't feel bad for the fact that they died
in the present, and then they were complicit.
Yeah.
Complicit.
It's like,
if you were on the Death Star when it got blown up, it is your fault. That's basically what we're saying. Okay,
honestly,
stop wearing things like that if you don't want to get assaulted in public.
If you don't want to get punched in the face, you shouldn't have a punchable symbol on you.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's I don't know how to say it.
You got a swastika on you, you get socked. That's simple. It's so simple.
Look. Every time a Nazi gets punched in the face, an angel gets its wings. And I don't even believe in heaven.
Exactly. See? If punching a Nazi is so powerful, it can convert Edward over to Judaism, then you should definitely go punch them. Nazi's not sponsored by Broke Till Friday.
Exactly.
Nazi punching is definitely sponsored. If you guys can send us a 10-second video of you assaulting a Nazi, we will send you $20, okay? That is
ironically.
A fact. I will unironically, if you guys see an actual Nazi, I will unironically myself send you $20 if I get a video of you just socking in the face.
No. What are you doing? Double it. I'll send 22.
$40.
$40.
All you have to do is if you
Sock a
ever
Nazi.
remember, don't go out and find them because I don't want you to get stabbed.
Yeah.
But if you see one at your show or at your concert, or if you just see one out in public and they're just being a Nazi, just tell them stop being a Nazi.
No,
and if they go no,
even better. If you live in the southern states, because of the BLM protests, people who run over other people during a protest are now under the protection of stand your own ground laws. So I mean, if you just happen to be in the area and see a protest,
Nazi protester, you can run them over.
Just run them over.
Fucking
It's
SUV
fine.
over them.
You know, they were in your way. You know, you had to stand your ground. Stand your ground laws. You know, just run them over. It's fine.
Does this violate YouTube's terms of service?
Maybe. That's why I was trying to coax
advocating
it.
for violence. Oops. Okay.
That's why I was trying to coax the language. But
for
honestly,
legal reasons, that's a joke. But if you find a video of someone punching a Nazi, send it to us. We'll send you $40 if your name happens to be the same as the name as the person filming. Just happens to be.
Just happens.
BrokeTillFridayPodcast@gmail.com. Send to us there. If you happen to, or if you happen to see someone with the same car make model as you and they're running over some Nazis at their garbage protests, send the video in.
You know, there's a cool $40 in it for you.
Exactly. Send the video in.
For legal reasons, that's a joke.
No. It's you get $40 if your name happens to be the same name as the person who ran them. Okay?
Yes. It just happens. It just happens.
By pure coincidence. We're not telling you to go do it.
Yeah. No relation.
Don't go do it yourself.
But
Find
if it
someone
happens to
very
be,
similar.
There may be $40 in it for you.
Maybe. Might get some chugga change. Yeah,
there's $40 to commit a federal crime.
Exactly.
You know?
No. In the southern states, it's not a federal crime. Remember?
In the southern states,
stand your ground. Stand your car. Stand your car.
Stand your car.
Broke Till Friday episode. Stand your car. That's a good one. Now I want to put Book of Boba Fett.
# not legal advice.
Honestly. Now I gotta put the Book of Boba Fett in the title so that we get the clickbait for it.
Dude, I don't know. I every time I see like the clickbait things, like I die laughing. Like I love it so much.
It's too good. These thumbnails are too good. We have professional editors.
Professional editors, yes.
Exactly. The professional editors are me and me. I do the thumbnails. I do the video editing. That's how I know it's professional. You're getting high quality work.
Quality work.
And all through Sony Vegas Pro, which was 100% paid for. Sorry, having some eye spasms. But
damn.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Speaking of Nazis.
Yeah.
How do you call it? They just banned like a Holocaust book in
Mouse.
They
just fucking Tennessee or some garbage southern state.
Tennessee and Texas, I think.
Was it Texas?
I
don't know.
And Tennessee.
It was a school though. It was a school board.
Not the state. It was the school.
So there are some school districts. There we go. Some school districts in the southern states which banned a book talking about horrors of the Holocaust. Mm-hmm. They banned it based on nudity and obscene imagery. And the nudity that you see is mouse. Because the Jews are mice in the actual graphic novel. It's like a comic book basically, right? It's a graphic novel where you see mice, and then the Germans are cats, and then the French are frogs. Americans.
I don't know if I'd call it a novel.
Yeah, it's a graphic novel.
Because a novel would imply that it's fiction. It's fictitious. And it's not really. It's based off of the author's...
But were there really mice and cats going around?
I mean,
that's what it's called. It's called a graphic novel.
But the story itself...
It's a graphic novel.
I guess.
Because you can say I wrote a personal novel, like, based on my life. It doesn't have to be an autobiography either, because autobiography is like straight facts, but personal novel can be based on my experiences. So
yeah, I guess so.
It's a graphic novel based on his dad's experiences.
The regular person would like understand that difference, though.
I mean, he called it that, so that's how he chose to. That's how he chose to market it. Art Spiegel, Mouse by Art Spiegel. So
read it before you're not allowed to.
Exactly, and so they said it's nudity and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But the nudity that you see is undressed mice. So mice and like a little pee-pee. But like it's not like obviously it's not detailed or anything because it's just a comic book, right? It's just like a little U at their crotch, and that's it. And that's what they were like, oh, this is it. And you know what the context of that clip is? Of those panels are? Because they're being thrown into gas chambers. So yeah, maybe take some fucking context clues lessons.
Yeah.
School district, fucking dumbasses. And then another school district was actually able to ban, I think it was Alabama, where they were actually able to ban critical race theory. Critical race theory is just talking about how white people fucking fucked up black people's lives for 50 years. In Alabama, 1950 something, a little girl was screamed at because she was the first girl to be in a desegregated black girl to be in a desegregated school. That same girl is still alive today. She's like 60. She's like 60 something right now.
Yeah,
which means
she's still alive.
There's still people alive who are probably yelling at her.
Yeah, they didn't want like the people who didn't want black people to like be like intermixed with like everyone else
Are
or
the
like
same
are
people
still alive, and they're still advocating for those same things. They haven't changed their mind just because the U.S. has been progressive.
Exactly.
Like, yeah. But here, I have a little bit of a spicy take on those books and the fact that they feature nudity. I'm pretty sure you share this opinion with me, even though it's probably considered a little spicy.
But I jacked off to them twice. 3 times.
That's not where I was going with that. But now that you mention it.
Honestly?
I'm just kidding. How do you call it? I don't think that like kids should be coddled in that way when in reference to actual harmful historical events. Like, yes, don't let people like under 18 watch porn or whatever, even though they obviously still do. But it shouldn't be encouraged, right? But I don't think that you should like prevent nudity from being seen when it's in reference to like
historical context or
a historical like if there was a book depicting what happened to Native Americans and it shows them getting brutally raped. Depending on how it's shown, like how if it's shown like how it is in Mouse, I don't think that's a bad thing.
No,
like
of course
I don't think that they should that like. I think that in fact that should be shown more because a lot of like history, especially from what I remember from like middle school and like high school, it is very sanitized of all the
horrors.
significance and the horror and the actual horrors, like because like in high school, like even in 12th grade you go from they were some of the Native Americans were raped, some of them were murdered,
a lot of them died, numbers but
numbers,
like...
and then you get to college and you go into like one specific event, like when Columbus first arrived on Taino, where he like chopped off like
people's
chemically
hands and
castrated
shit.
people, and like all this other horrific shit, and you're like, why was it even ever considered? Why you just start questioning like, why was it ever so sanitized? Like, and like a lot of people don't get to that. Like as much as many people go to college, a lot of people don't get to that stage, and so that's why you have this like lashback against anti-Columbus Day, or like rather than like having Columbus Day as a day of like celebrating Columbus, why we're trying to change it to like, or why they changed it to like celebrating his death, because it's good he's in the fucking ground.
Indigenous Peoples Day and things like that, so you can actually celebrate the indigenous people and stuff like that, because it's like, oh, they're Indians, is like Indian Americans, haha. It's like, no, they're Native Americans, indigenous to this place.
Although apparently I hear through the grapevine that some like to like Native Americans, they feel it's like white people, like when you try to call them Native Americans to some of them, it feels like they're now like they have this like term, right, Indians, and now it's being taken away from the same people that took away all the other things from them. So it feels kind of like white people going back and doing that. And not all of them, of course, not all of them, but because no group is a monolith. But I do hear that some people prefer, like, the closer, basically from what I understand, the closer to reservations you go, the more the term Indian is used, and the more outside you go, the more Native American is used. Generally speaking, not of course not specific, not all not all of this, but like in general, from what I've heard, not a count of everyone. Disclaimer.
I don't know. But I get what you mean. As long I understand what you mean, though. As far as terms and things like that, because there's other like whitewashing terms that people try to impose. Where like, oh, it's these are my Latinx friends, and it's like Latinx. Like, that's not a real term. Like, no one in Latin America is actually using that, and that's just a white what's called. It's just a white idea that they're imposing on them, because gendered language is like it's a real thing, I know a couple of other Latino non-binary people, because that term, from my understanding, that term was to try to make it more equitable to non-binary people such as myself, but and of course I only know like
2 other Latino non-binary people, but from the people we know like that, no one IRL uses that, or no one IRL kind of likes that to be used. Some people are indifferent, like me. I'm like, I mean,
yeah.
But from what I know of the 2 other people that I know that are also non-binary, no one really uses that. It's only ever used like online. Like I go on TikTok, everyone is using it. Every single person.
That's probably why it's a loud minority.
Yeah.
Of it. Okay.
Yeah, and like I'll go on Facebook again, and then like I'm in some non-binary Facebook groups. Some of them use it, some of them don't. It's a little bit more split on Facebook.
Yeah.
But definitely on TikTok, every time it's in reference to Latino non-binaries, it's Latinx. And a lot of times it's not used for like other Latinos too. That's what I've noticed. Like when someone is identifying as a guy, they just say Latino, not Latinx.
Well, because Latino is the neutral term.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. But like
the Latinos in the area, like you don't say Latinos and Latinas.
Yeah, I know. But Latinx was meant to like supplant both of those, and just when you use it in reference to anyone, from my understanding, of course. And it from what I've seen, at least like where I've seen it used the most, it doesn't really do that. Like it just adds it, so you have Latino, Latina, Latinx.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
I don't know. It is a little jarring, but then again, you never know. Like 5 years ago, no one ever really thought, or not many people really thought that non-binary was a thing. So you never know in like 20 years if it gets, if people adopt it well enough. Language evolves.
I guess so, but it feels weird because I mean, like I said, if you go to like any Latin American country, they're not using that because it's like why are white people like appropriating our language or trying to impose other types of language onto us? Because it's like, if they're saying like, what are you going to change every single thing? Like, la mesa. It's like, you gotta say licks mesks. Like, it's like you
have to reform the entire language. Since so much of it is that. Which, I mean, I don't know. I feel like as long as it might eventually happen, maybe, 50, 100 years, as long as we keep being more progressive, which history shows we kind of are, despite some dips.
Dude, it's crazy how non-progressive the entire rest of the world is. Well, besides the U.S.
Besides the first world country.
Yeah, the second and third world countries, they don't have time for that shit.
Yeah, no.
It's like,
you're trying to survive.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You got to get food and water first before you can get to self-actualization all the way to the top.
Although, like, it also depends, because like when I went to Mexico to bury my uncle, I was seeing a lot more like LGBT couples.
Oh no, Mexico's fine. Mexico's like second world. It's second. I would not call it a first world. I would not call it a first world country because
it's more like Denver.
No. Denver's in
sorry, that's a bad joke. That's a bad joke.
Like Mexico's a second world country just because like the fucking cartel's still running most of it. It's so sad for the average person. But I mean, there's still like cities and rich places and stuff like that.
I'm telling you, man. So if they just legalized like drugs in Mexico, that'd get rid of their problem so quick.
But remember the avocado farms. Remember?
Yeah, the avocado farms. But they got their ability. They get their ability to do that because the capital coming in from the drugs.
Maybe
they're able, and then the avocados expand their influence. They expand the revenue that they have, and until it becomes the majority of what they do. But like if they legalize all the drugs, there wouldn't be an incentive to go outside of the law anymore in order to operate. And so they'd all become legal, which means that standardization would happen, and like it's the same thing that would like happen here, like with weed. Like there's not a lot of like need. Like at least I know everyone that I know that like has always been consuming weed, no longer gets it from like I still remember like when when some people I knew that smoke weed. Like they would go to like a corner house. Like I remember like seeing them and like telling me about going to sketchy ass houses and like that. No one I know that smokes weed ever does that anymore. They all go to like a dispensary or like a church or something.
Yeah, like it's like more mainstream.
Yeah, it's not just mainstream. It's safer. You can trust it more.
Oh, for sure. So getting something laced with something else.
Yeah, no. And then you can get more varieties. Like you can get gummy worms there. You can get like cake.
Sleepy time, focus time.
Yeah,
relax time.
You get so many more options. So like. I don't know if they standardized drugs like legalized and standardized, like it'd just be it'd remove a lot of the crime.
Yeah,
crime components.
And it's funny because you think about it, like it's a no-brainer. Like why wouldn't you? You just legalize it and then you tax it. Like it's
So much money to be made.
Yeah, so much money to be made. But of course, the U.S. conservatives are going to go, no, you can't do that because it's against God or whatever bullshit they have. And then
for a country that's supposedly very secular in its founding, there's a lot of people that aren't that want like basically Sharia law, like Christian Sharia law.
Yeah.
In office.
It's Al Qaeda, basically. Al Qaeda, where they're like, you can't take my guns. Oh, yeah. I saw this amazing comment where this lady went, the Constitution was not meant to be changed, so you got to follow it as it is. And it's like, what a compelling argument against the Second Amendment. Because the Second Amendment is the fucking guns. Like, there's amendments to the Constitution. Because that's how it works. Like, you fucking idiot, you know?
Like, all the big ones that we always talk about are amendments to the actual Constitution.
Exactly.
The Constitution was really just written to, like, separate us from the crown. But the amendments are really what we think about when we're thinking about our rights.
It's meant to be changed because amended. Like, the 10 amendments are added onto it, you know? Like, added.
Like, here's the thing. Like, I'm in two camps. I feel like a doctrine like the Constitution should be changeable, and like every couple of years you should be able to like go back and reflect and like, okay, you know, probably these rights we forgot to include or something like that, or we could clarify what this certain right means and something like that. Like French people do that a lot. Where like every 10 years or so, I think, or
they
something
behead their
like
monarchs.
They behead their monarchs, and you know, new constitution.
No, yeah, because I mean, we have had that. The only problem is the progress has been so much slower. Because where you go, all men are created equal, and it's like, okay, now I guess we'll give women the right to vote or whatever, and it's like.
Yeah, but our changes happen on a time scale of like hundreds of years or you know, dozens of years.
Yeah, it's not as long as the Magna Carta. Magna Carta's been around since fucking 1200, 1600.
Yeah, I know, but like France, like every 10 years or so, they're just like, okay, now they don't necessarily change it, but they review it. They're like,
they review the Constitution.
They review their Constitution.
We should have something like that.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, let's update this. And I wholeheartedly believe that any legitimate system has some sort of system like that in place to make sure that like.
It's basically a failsafe, a backup.
Yeah, a failsafe, a backup. So that thing. But here's the thing. I don't think I trust America to be able to like consistently update the Constitution.
Because imagine how important that election cycle would be.
Yeah.
How divided it would be.
It'd be so much more important.
And think of it. In 2020, who was president? Trump was still president until the end of the 2020 election. So imagine let's say 2020, they're like, all right, January 1st, 2020, we're going to amend the Constitution again. And they're like, oh, well, no, he still would have been president because in 2016, because you're thinking of 10-year increments, 1776, 1786, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You get to 2006, fucking Bush. And then to fucking 2016, Trump was fucking president. Like that's it.
Yeah, that's
GG.
it. GG's.
Wait, no, Obama
was still president.
So I guess they
2016.
could have, but they would have blocked his ass. You know, they would have blocked his ass. They blocked his ass from getting in the Supreme Court. Of course, they're gonna block his ass.
Also, it's because like okay, we know Democrats are our best option against Republicans.
Yeah,
but I mean,
but it could be better.
I was gonna say, like, come on, Democrats are they're just like Republicans light. Like the only things that are completely bipartisan is tax incentives for the rich.
Yeah,
it's like appealing to rich people. Why are we on politics again? Like we were
That's how it happens.
We were just like literally.
Cad Bane became this.
Cad Bane fucking. I was like so excited to talk. Like I've been hyped all fucking week about Book of Boba Fett, honestly? And somehow we end up on like the issues of Republican Congress and like how divided America is.
Because we jump from like Nazis to things like that, punching them, etc.
I guess it's because all the things that we enjoy, like Marvel, Star Wars, they directly reference and appeal and take from like real life
political
events.
Things.
Yeah. Like storytelling is inherently political.
Yeah, like do you know why the Jawas speak in gibberish and they're always stealing? Because they're the depiction of Jews. Did you not know that?
I was thinking you were gonna go with that. Like I was like,
I saw your face slowly forward. And I was like, don't laugh at me. Let me finish the punchline. I'm too predictable now. I'm sorry, everybody. We got to log off now.
Oh my god.
Too predictable.
Oh my god. Like I legitimately predicted that, and I was like, oh wait, is he gonna say it? Is he gonna?
You ultra instinct the joke.
Like time, like it was like Fry in that one episode when he drinks too much coffee. Like time slowed down for a second.
In a bottle. Yeah. But space Jews. Okay. So, anyways.
But oh my god, I love the Jawas now so much.
Oh, they were all helpful. Okay, they were legitimately helpful. I fucking hated them because they were stripping his ship, and he's like, hey, and they're like, and you're like, fuck you, you fucking Jawa pieces of shit. You took his fucking thing. And then you get to reverse that where you're like, Jawas, you gave him a ship. Okay, you're cool.
Okay, yeah.
And then he gives him coins, and she's like, no, you're gonna spoil them because she's like, they were already doing this for free. Why are you paying them?
Honestly, and like, okay, like I do like, not just because of this episode, but like after we filmed that episode, we were all shitting on the Jawas. I did kind of regret doing that because the more I thought about it, the more I was like, well, they live on
victims
Tatooine.
of circumstance.
They're victims of that like horrible circumstance of that planet where like they're basically run by cartels. It's
Broke
like,
Till Friday issues a sincere apology to the Jawa lovers.
Honestly though, I mean, as furry lovers as you are, you know, like.
Yeah, remember she said they were exceptionally hairy. The lady slept. She slept with a fucking Jawa, and she's like, they're surprisingly hairy, and it's like, what the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah, but that looks weird from our point of view. But in there, it's just like another.
It's another species. Fuck it, they've done that for years.
You saying that in that universe, it's kind of like 1960s, like white.
She didn't shave her armpits.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. It's like.
That's it. That's pretty much it. Yeah. Because if you think of it, like the only reason you're like, oh yeah, that other alien is so sexy is because it's just a fucking lady with boobs with like a
blue
head.
hair. And
yeah, exactly. And it's like she's an alien from a different planet, and you're like, I'll fuck her because she's got boobs. And then you see those huge masses of things, and they're like, oh, I slept with her, and you're like, ew. And it's like, you're a bigot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fucking
you're a bigot.
headed ass motherfucker.
They've gone so far past.
Jabba the Hutt.
Exactly.
Should've.
Exactly. You know.
Well, not Jabba the Hutt because he's a piece of shit, but you know,
he
dead, and he's dead. But that'd be necrophilia. Don't do that.
But the sister and brother, which have a strangely sexual relationship, it feels like. Remember?
Oh, Luke and Leia.
No, Jabba's cousins. Remember Jabba's cousins? They're both like on each other, and they're like, so.
Oh, in Book of Boba Fett?
Yes.
Do we know that like
their brother and sister?
Their brother and sister?
Yeah, they weren't. They were the twins or whatever. They were.
I guess, but you're a lot closer with your twin than you are like that.
They were literally like on each other, like.
I mean, yeah, but that's because they're like they take up like the size of a house.
Yeah, they're like 3 tons.
Yeah.
Carried by a bunch of shaky people going, oh fuck, this is it.
And then they drop them, and then they just fucking die.
Honestly, like I was thinking.
Honestly, I don't like I like Jabba's whole like thing, like his whole race and stuff, like as a concept in the universe, and his like family basically, not his race, his family.
Yeah.
As like a concept in the system.
The
like
crime family.
The Star Wars mafia.
Yeah.
Thing like.
The crime boss.
But I mean, they are pretty shitty people.
I mean, yeah, slavery and a crime boss is by definition going to be a shit person.
I mean, not necessarily. Jason Todd was a good crime boss. In
Nightwing?
DC? No. Jason Todd, the Red Hood.
Oh, Red Hood.
Like,
wasn't he Nightwing for a bit?
No. As far as I know, he was never Nightwing.
Or Jason Todd was.
Jason Todd was the second Robin.
That was the Robin.
Yeah, and like. That's what Jason Todd was. Like his introduction to when he came back to life, his first introduction as the Red Hood was him decapitating all the other mob bosses and then taking control of their lieutenants. He literally became literally the Jabba the Hutt version in the DC universe, and because he didn't think he could solve things with guns, like he wasn't the Punisher. Now he kind of is, because they don't know really how to write a mob boss character as a good guy, but in his original story he thought that he could curb crime by controlling it. So like you guys can deal drugs. Basically the same concept as legalizing them. Like you can deal drugs to people who are already addicted to it, and if they get help, you can't force them to do it more. But you can never start selling to children. And like he set down like ground rules where they couldn't do stuff. Yeah. Obviously still illegal, but like you can't have a good crime boss.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
big quotation marks.
I was gonna say
like,
hypothetically.
He didn't enslave anyone, but he still chopped off the heads of all the other bad guys. So he's not exactly a good person, but he is a good crime boss.
Like people always say, like, oh, Al Capone was a good guy because he fucking opened up a soup kitchen and stuff.
Yeah,
and it's like, but he shook down his fucking community as like, we're gonna protect you or we're gonna kill you. So you pay up, and it's like, if they can't afford their shops fucking gone or taken over and stuff, and that's not like, he's not a good person.
Not a good person. No. Like you could, but I'm talking about like you can write a good crime boss, like I don't want to say ethical because it's not ethical, but like you can write a crime boss that has good intentions and good like wanting to improve the situation of crime. And then you can also have like a Jabba the Hutt where like well, you're my slave now.
Yeah.
Anyone who isn't me is my slave now. And that's just how
That's just how life works.
That's just how life works. Like, yeah.
So you're saying Jabba the Hutt is Bezos, and we've got to get Bezos and strangle him to death.
Yes.
We got to get one of
Unironically.
we got to get one of his sex slaves to strangle him to death.
Yes. I legitimately wouldn't be surprised if like in one of the flight logs eventually Jeff Bezos' name pops up. I'm so disconnected from not disconnected. I'm so desensitized to the fact that level of wealth, that level of wealth can shift your morals. Yeah. Like rich people play by a different set of moral rules than regular people.
When you can just buy, dude, fucking Musk could just go to like the Philippines, buy some lady, have her chopped up, gone, and you would never know because they're a nobody. They're a nobody.
Yeah,
that's why like whenever someone's like, "Oh, I could totally do a perfect crime," it's like, no, you know what the perfect crime is? Stab a homeless person.
Yeah, literally.
No, stab a homeless person. No one's gonna know because they're a nobody. And imagine you don't even have to be rich to go out and stab a homeless person and then just walk away because they'll be like, "Oh, that bum just got stabbed by another bum." No one's ever gonna care, right? But when you get into people that are like actual people, like let's say if a family member or like a friend or even just an acquaintance, like, "Oh yeah, I interacted with them 2 weeks ago," and it's like, "Oh, now they're dead. Now you're a suspect," right? Mm-hmm. But with Musk, he could literally just order them to shoot someone, dispose of it, everything, have his own fucking videos.
Dirty.
Exactly. He could do it himself.
Yeah. No one would ever know. Like if he takes a trip to like the Philippines, he could legitimately murder someone, like a random poor person, and no one would know. Like
who's gonna say anything? He's a fucking billionaire.
Like
he's like, here's $1,000, which is like 0.001% of his wealth, and they're like, "Oh my god, this is like 3 months' wages." Okay, go ahead, kill her.
Like there's a reason, like, and we know this can be done. You know why? Because there's other rich people who've done this, and they almost like they
almost got away with it, but then they got personal.
They got personal. Like they're like the one I can think of off the top of my head is this dude in Canada who was so rich that like he threw like sex parties, like drug, like heroin, cocaine, sex parties at his like mansion estate that he owned like a construction business in. And he was so rowdy that despite all the land around him, the other houses in the neighborhood called to complain. Like they called the police, and the police were like, "Oh no, but he donates a lot to like charity and stuff. So we're just gonna let it slide." To the police union. I don't know if he did contribute to the police union. Yeah. It's thought of because apparently like his like mother and stuff was like involved in like underground crime or some shit beforehand. And Every time. And so it's thought that his gang or his brother's gang, I forgot. I don't remember the details. I don't want to be slanderous. But then again, he's a murderer, so I don't give a fuck. Like a serial killer, literally. And what he did was literally he would go out, find bums and prostitutes, mostly prostitutes who were also living homeless, take them to his house, promise them drugs and free meal, and then murder them. And chop up their body, hide it in the fridge, and there we go. And he murdered like dozens of people, like 80, 90 people over like 20 years or some shit. And he never got caught. Well, at the end he got caught, but like during all of that. By that time it was too late. 80 people had died or some shit. Like
dozens of people.
Fucking the fucking worst serial killer that we know of. Fucking the monster of the Andes. He was poor and he was able to do it. Exactly. It's just because he was murdering other poor people, and he got caught only because, like, I think the community went after him or something.
Yeah, so something basically. Yeah,
if you're a poor person, you're so unimportant to the system aside from your status as a poor person, because like you as the individual don't matter, but you as a poor person support the rest of the system because everyone else works because they don't want to end up like you. So rather than like your life having meaning, your existence serves as a countermeasure to questioning the system. People are too busy trying to not be you and to actually question like, why are we letting these people have this level of inhumane position in life.
Yeah.
Like, your life has so little value that if anyone with just moderately more wealth than you, like even like if you have like, even if you're both poor,
but let's say he's making 80,000 and you're making 30,000.
Yeah. Like your life is so much less meaningful.
It's crazy.
Like when in reference to the system, obviously, your life is going to have meaning to those around you and to yourself, hopefully. But
in conclusion, kill yourself.
Yeah, in conclusion, kill yourself. I'm going to kill myself right after this podcast.
And that's Broke Till Friday. And then we're kidding. Obviously, yeah. Put the amendment. Put the amendment. Don't kill yourself.
Don't kill yourself. Don't do it.
Suicide is not badass.
It's not good.
As
in fact, I got to take my antidepressant medicine right now after the podcast.
We're broke till Friday. Goodbye, my friends. We'll see you next week. Now I'ma go and beat my meat. And we're broke till Friday. Goodbye, my friends. We'll see you next week. And now I'ma go and beat my meat. And we're broke till Friday.